I'd like to call on Macomb City Council to order, please. If you would please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you. If the clerk would call the roll, please.
Justin Shu,
Here.
John Vajezi,
Here.
Byron Shabazz,
Here.
Dick Dorsett,
Present.
Ashley Katz, here, Don Wynn,
Here.
Dennis Moon.
Here.
7 present.
We have a quorum. Thank you. I'd like to call a public hearing. We actually have 3 public hearings scheduled for this evening on 3 different liquor licenses, but they're all for the same proprietor. The first will be a public hearing on an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC. The second will be a public hearing on an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC doing business as Lucky Spins. And the third would be a public hearing on an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC doing business as Bulldog Gaming. One of the petitioners is, well, all the petitioners are here collectively, but Mr. Anthony Becker has volunteered, I think, to be the spokesman for the group tonight. So, Mr. Becker, we'd like to open the public hearing for all 3 of these at the same time, essentially, because I think you have a plan here that you're going to discuss with us, so we'll explain what you're trying to accomplish with these 3 liquor licenses.
Absolutely. Yep. Thanks for having me today. Nice to see you all. So Lucky Z's is a gaming company. We're located out of Quincy, Illinois. We were established in 2018. We have 3 locations in Quincy and 1 in Pittsfield, Illinois. And we're excited to bring our product and our investment to the Macomb community. Our location is 1020, 1024, and 1026 East Jackson would be the 3 bays that we'll be occupying at this time. We plan on renovating that building. If you all are familiar with that building, it is fairly run down at the moment. But we are excited to, like I said, bring our investment to the Macomb area. We have already obtained approval for $500,000 for a reconstruction for the building. The other 3 bays will be rented out to unknown tenants at the moment. But we're looking forward to providing spaces for businesses of the city of Macomb, and as well as the occupancy of our 3 liquor licenses. Now, the building purchase itself is actually contingent upon the 3 liquor licenses, so it's very important for us as a company, as well as our investment in the building, to obtain these 3 liquor licenses. But we're very excited to be here, and we're very excited to enter the city of Macomb. And if you guys have any questions for me, we'd be happy to assist in any of those, and be happy to field any questions.
Okay, for a point of reference, this is a single building structure located at the corner of White and East Jackson Street, formerly housing the Department of Human Services. If you go back far enough, it was originally a Henry's hamburger joint. So Mr. Dorsett's and Mr. Moon would remember that, I'm sure. It's been a while. So does anyone from the council have any questions for Mr. Becker? Alderman Shabazz.
From what I understand thus far, but what I'd like to know is, what will you bring to Macomb? Now, I understand you're gambling. Are these jobs that pay well? Will you help enhance the neighborhood you're in? Help me understand more of what you'll bring, because I understand what gambling is, but I also know the other side of gambling. So
Sure.
My concern is, what will you help provide and bring to the community as opposed to take away from it?
Sure. So, of course, I mean, we would love to partner with any types of businesses or maybe community involvement that our business could particularly help with. We don't really have any of those names specifically on hand. I don't have that information for you at the moment, but we're not opposed to helping where we can. It's not only the building investment, as you mentioned, but we would also like to partner with other businesses and maybe some community involvement, so we could really become a part of it and be more so a part of the Macomb community.
Well, if I may,
Go ahead, Mr. Shabazz.
more like talk about hourly rates.
Sure.
You know, what are we talking about in terms of? So I'm clear. I'm really looking to what will you do to enhance right? Because we know gambling is about really figuring out how the people spend their money. Clearly, you're there to make a profit, obviously, but that profit in this situation really takes away, and I'm worried about what that will bring, the taking away part. So I'm just trying to understand, if you'll help me understand more about what you'll provide by way of wages for your employees.
Sure. So each bay, or I guess each one of our suites, we expect to have either 3 full-time attendants or 6 part-time attendants. We pay above minimum wage. The actual context of the job is not necessarily labor intensive. The extent of the job is, for the most part, checking IDs, making sure you're in compliance, and making sure there's no underage individuals entering the space. Having said that, we do have a higher pay structure than probably some of our other competitors. I can't necessarily say that for the Macomb area, but for the other cities that we have taken part in our business, we have come above the minimum wage and also our competitors' wages, because our environment is not just your run-of-the-mill, throw some machines in a corner and have people come in the door. It's the Lucky Z's brand itself is a luxury gaming facility, is what our tagline is, so to speak. So we have casino carpet, chandeliers, top-class service, cleanliness of the store, friendliness of the staff. So that allows us to pay a little bit more because people are expecting to receive that type of invitation in our facilities, and it's a little bit more inviting for a place to come spend your time or at our establishments.
One more question. So tell me what you'll do to enhance our community, because we know what gambling brings, right? Both good and bad.
Sure.
And I'm worried as a member of the community, citizen, what are the bad parts is really honestly what I'm worried about. So I want to hear from you. What do you think you'll do to help enhance the community?
Well, let me, if you don't mind, I'd like to pose that question back. What would you like to see in a perfect world from a establishment like ourselves to better the community? What would that look like from your perspective?
I really can't answer that. I really can't right now kind of articulate what I'm trying to feel without it turning into something further.
I want to be clear that we're not opposed to anything of that nature. I mean, we're very much opposed to lifting up the community. We're not necessarily just trying to, like any business operates for a profit, right? And the funds that we expect to gain from these 3 bays, we expect to try to cover some of the expenses for the building investment as a whole. Like as I mentioned earlier, would be a little, it could potentially be substantial. So, but we are absolutely up to joining programs, helping benefit where we can and where we can help out. I think the city of Macomb as itself doesn't seem to have too many gaming parlors or gaming facilities in the area. I think all the records for gaming is all public information, and that demographic analysis provided that information for us to be so excited to provide our investment to the city, because it seems to be, I wouldn't say a fairly untapped market, but it's very clear that there are some establishments that could use a little bit of competition in the area, and whatever they are doing to provide for the community, I'm sure we would be willing to do that as well.
Okay.
Oliver Jesse.
First of all, I want to say thank you for coming in and trying to refurbish an old building. Putting $500,000 into that building will definitely help out. But my question is more property related. Being that there are 6 bays within that building,
Yes.
How are you going to address the parking issues?
Yeah, so parking has been one of the largest hurdles, because we've been looking for a building in the area for, it seems to be a little over a year now. So the parking, we might have to submit a variance for the parking, but we don't intend to rent the remaining 3 bays to any high traffic. So there won't be any restaurants, there won't be grocery stores, stuff like that, because I know there's a tiered approach when it comes to parking with some of those regulations. So we're not necessarily limiting who we're gonna rent to, but we do have to be mindful of that situation when it comes to construction and build out. And we've been working with John Bannon and Eric about how we get it set up perfectly for not only our suites, but the potential renters and for the future.
Thank you.
Alderman Dorsett.
I want to piggyback a little bit on what Councilmember Shabazz had to say. Do you have, just in general, do you have like a pro forma number that as a corporation you plow back into local charities, local organizations?
At the moment, I don't have that pro forma. We are a growing business. For every year, we've added a location other than COVID year, as of course that provided a little bit of a strain from a business growth perspective. But we are a growing business, and every dollar that's come in so far has gone to either adding a location or improving a city's building at the moment. So I don't have those numbers on top of my head, but like I said, we're not opposed to if there's any specific types of either charities or programs you would like for us to get involved with, we'd be more than happy to do so.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Anyone else? Anyone else from the public have any information or pros or cons they'd like to express regarding the three different Class A liquor licenses that are proposed for this area? So just to recap, Mr. Becker, I understand you're willing to put $500,000 into redevelopment of the property and somewhere between 9 and 18 full-time and part-time employees. Does that sound correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All righty. Again, anyone else wish to have their voice heard in the public hearing? All right. Thank you, Mr. Becker.
Thank you for your time. Appreciate it.
We'll close the public hearing at this time, and council, before you is the consent agenda, and a motion is in order.
Move to adopt as published.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the consent agenda as published. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Citizens wishing to address the city council on matters germane to the agenda of tonight's meeting will be limited to 3 minutes and are asked to be brief and concise in making their remarks. Comments submitted by mail or email will not be read aloud, but a copy will be provided to each member of the council and made a part of minutes of this meeting. Does anyone wish to speak to the council under the public comment section of tonight's agenda? All righty, thank you. Hearing none, we'll go on to unfinished business, which we do not have any. So under new business, item number 1, consideration of an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC located at 1020 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois. This will be first reading.
Thank you. Lucky Z's LLC is located at 1020 East Jackson Street in Macomb, Illinois. They filed an application requesting the creation of a Class A liquor license for that location. Upon receipt of the application, we compiled a list of the record owners within 250 feet of the subject property. Excuse me. We posted signs on the property and scheduled the public hearing for this evening, June 5th, 2023 at 5:15 p.m. We sent written notice to those record owners and published notice of the hearing in the community news brief. We've arranged for a background check to be conducted with the Macomb Police Department, and a representative from the business has appeared tonight to explain the intentions for the proposed liquor license. If adopted, council would indicate their desire to approve that site for the creation of a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC at 1020 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on for additional discussion at next week's committee of the whole meeting. Item number 2, consideration of an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Lucky Spins, located at 1024 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois. This will be first reading.
Thank you. This ordinance indicates that Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Lucky Spins, located at 1024 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois, has filed an application for the creation of a Class A liquor license. All other provisions of that ordinance are identical to what I just read. If adopted, council would indicate their desire to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Lucky Spins, located at 1024 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We'll place that on the agenda for next week's committee of the whole meeting for further discussion. Item number 3, consideration of an ordinance to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Bulldog Gaming, located at 1026 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois. This will be first reading.
Thank you. Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Bulldog Gaming, located at 1026 East Jackson Street in Macomb, has filed an application for the creation of a Class A liquor license. All other provisions of this ordinance are also identical to the first ordinance that I read. If adopted, council would indicate its desire to create a Class A liquor license for Lucky Z's LLC, doing business as Bulldog Gaming, located at 1026 East Jackson Street, Macomb, Illinois.
Thank you. That'll serve as first reading. We'll place that on for additional discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole. Item number 4, consideration of an ordinance to create a special event liquor license for the Prairie Hills Resource Conservation and Developments, extending the Prairie Table event. This will be first reading.
Thank you. Prairie Hills Resource Conservation and Development Incorporated has filed an application requesting the creation of a special event liquor license for their Extending the Prairie Table event to be held at the Macomb Fieldhouse at 254 South Collins Avenue in Macomb, Illinois, on September 30th, 2023, between the hours of 5 p.m. and 8 p.m. Prairie Hills is a special event retailer, as that term is defined in the Macomb Municipal Code, and if adopted, the ordinance would create a special event class SE liquor license for Prairie Hills Resource Conservation and Developments, Extending the Prairie Table, to be held at Macomb Fieldhouse here in Macomb, Illinois, on September 30th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading, and we'll place that on for additional discussion at next week's Committee of the Whole. Item number 5, consideration of an ordinance to create a special event liquor license for the Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau's Heritage Days event. This will be first reading.
Thank you. The Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau has filed an application requesting the creation of a Class SE liquor license for the Heritage Days event to be held at a contiguous parcel encompassing 131 North Lafayette, 133 North Lafayette, 107 East Carroll, and 111 East Carroll Street, commonly referred to as 133 North Lafayette. The event would be held adjacent to those locations in Chandler Park on June 23rd between the hours of 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. June 22nd, I apologize. June 23rd between the hours of 3 p.m. and 10:30 p.m., and June 24th, 2023 between the hours of 10 a.m. and 10:30 p.m. The license would be applicable for those same dates and hours. The Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau is a special event retailer, as that term is defined in our code, and if adopted, the ordinance would create a Class SE liquor license for the Macomb Area Convention and Visitors Bureau for the property commonly referred to as 133 North Lafayette Street here in Macomb, for the event to be held June 22nd, 23rd, and 24th of this year.
Thank you. That'll stand as first reading. We are very familiar with the organizers of this event, and they do represent that organizations currently in the room. We'd ask for council to consider waiving second reading.
Make a motion to waive second reading.
Second.
Moved and seconded to waive the second reading. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excuse me. Yes, Alderman Moon.
Is there a timing issue with this?
They will have to get to the state of Illinois to get the state-issued liquor license prior to the start of the event.
Is there a timing issue?
There is in order to not have to appear in person in front of the Liquor Commission in Springfield, it has to be, the application has to be filed 14 days in advance of the event.
Okay.
Thank you. Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'd entertain a motion to issue or adopt the ordinance to issue the license.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Bajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz. Aye. Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 6, consideration to adopt a resolution for the Heritage Days Festival and Carnival closure of one lane on U.S. Highway 67 and 136 from North Lafayette Street to North Campbell Street. This resolution is to be presented to the Department of Transportation so that we can, in fact, do that to facilitate some safety issues there. I'd ask the city attorney to read the resolution into the record, please.
Thank you. The resolution provides that the city is sponsoring a Heritage Days Festival and Carnival, and the event would require the temporary closure of one lane of Highway 67, US 136 from North Lafayette Street to North Campbell Street. Closure of that portion of the highway would be requested of the Department of Transportation. The closure would be the time period of Thursday, June 22nd at 8 a.m. until Monday, June 26, 2023 at 10 a.m. No detour would be required as one-lane traffic would remain passable, and the resolution would be presented to the Illinois Department of Transportation for approval.
Thank you.
Resolution, I apologize, I think I said ordinance.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to adopt the resolution. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz, Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 7, consideration to award the bid for the 2023 roadway improvement projects and enter into a contract with United Contractors Midwest, also known as UCM, in the amount of $219,958. The side streets include Riley, Albert, Charles, and Clark. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Public Works Director, Ms. Ortman. Would you mind coming up and going over that with us and maybe also discuss the engineer's recommendation as well?
Good evening. This is the first of 3 road projects I'll be coming before you to ask approval of. This one was held last week, and this is for the side streets that come off of West Jackson that are in pretty bad shape. So we're going to do some regrading. It's not just your typical microseal or mill and overlay. We're going to do a little bit more, till it, regrade it, restore the profile, and make them much better than they are now. The engineer had given the contractor 2 alternates, basically based on the type of oil to be used for the chip seal portion of the project. And because he bid the same amount for both types of oil, he's recommending we just go with the better of the 2 oils. And so that brings our total to the $219,958. So we would ask approval for that contract.
Any questions for Mrs. Ortman? So Alice, this is coming out of ARPA funds, is that correct?
Correct.
We'd entertain a motion to award the bid.
Motion to award the bid for 2023 roadway improvement projects to UCM for $219,958.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Alderman Moon, did you have questions, sir?
I just wondered what the balance was.
In the ARPA funds?
Yes.
I think
The balance,
go ahead.
the balance is 310,931.77. It's in the memo. That's the balance of the ARPA fund. So then we'll take that 219 out of that, so we'll have just a little under 100,000 left when we're done. And then that money will then be used for the next project, and then once the ARPA funds are expended, then we'll start using the infrastructure sales tax funds that we had budgeted for these roadway projects.
So we're kind of going at this as we do certain streets, and we're
Yes.
seeing what the balance is, and
Yes,
then
yes.
putting it back out and piecemealing it, and not piecemealing, that's
Yeah,
not a good
yeah,
word
no,
to say.
yeah. We're phasing it strategically.
That's why you get the big bucks.
Any other discussion? All righty. Hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 8, consideration to approve a construction services contract for the 2023 road improvements with Klinger and Associates in the amount of not to exceed $84,000. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Public Works Director, Ms. Ortman. Could you go over that for us, please?
Yes, we asked Klingner, who was the design engineer, to provide us with a proposal to do construction administration services and inspection. And we asked them to lump all 3 projects together and give us a time and materials not to exceed, because depending on the contractor and depending on how the work goes, they probably won't need to have somebody on site full-time. So that $84,000 is for all 3 projects. I would anticipate that we'll spend probably a little bit more of this on the first project because it's such a different type of project. They're going to have to come out and survey and make sure that they shoot everything so we get the profile restored the way we want it. So it's typical, they'll calculate quantities so that we get the billing right. They'll do inspection, they'll do material testing, they'll help verify the construction layout, but they will not be doing it. That's on the contractor.
Okay. Any questions for Alice? There's also a copy of the proposed agreement in there as well. Alrighty, and we entertain a motion to adopt the services agreement with Klingler and Associates in the amount not to exceed $84,000.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Katz.
Aye.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Alice. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
Item number 9, consideration to approve Amendment 1 to the service agreement between the City of Macomb and Ride Systems LLC. There's a memorandum in your packet from the Transit Director, Ms. Lambert. Could you go over that for us, please?
Yes. Good evening, everyone. So what I brought in front of you is the amendment for the Ride Systems contract. This is our current automatic vehicle location provider for our Go West system. And why I'm looking to renew this in an amendment is 2 reasons. So it's going, well, 3 reasons. It's going to update our current contract to extend until May 31st of 2023, which ended last month. And then it will allow us to go month by month and change our number of GPS tracking devices from 18 to 6. So what that's going to do while we go out for, we're putting together proposals with IDOT to update our current system, whether it be Ride Systems or it be another vendor. It allows us to minimize how much we're paying them a month from the $2,814 to $1,895 while we have them in place until we have a new vendor selected.
Okay, thank you, Miranda. Any questions for Ms. Lambert? All right. We'd entertain a motion to approve amendment number 1 to the service agreement with the City and Ride Systems LLC.
Make a motion to approve amendment number 1 for the service agreement between the City of Macomb and Ride Systems LLC.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Miranda, just to be clear, it's our intention to move away from this system altogether, right?
It is our intention to update that system. So right now, what happened in January of this year with the phase out of 3G to allow more room for 5G, we went from 18 tracking systems to 6. So what we're going to do is use the remaining of our CARES funding that we received for our transportation to update that system. So we've gone through a number of demos with different vendors and currently working with IDOT on putting together the RFP.
So just for Alderman Shu, Alderman Katz, Alderman Shabazz, if you had any interaction with particularly students who use this system, they may not have been very satisfied with it for a good reason. It's antiquated. So we're headed in that right direction, I guess is what I'm sharing with you. All righty. Is that right, Amanda? Did I overspeak?
Nope, it was perfect, yes.
All righty, thank you. Hearing no further discussion, then roll call, please.
Wynn.
Aye.
Moon.
Aye.
Shu.
Aye.
Vajezi.
Aye.
Shabazz.
Aye.
Dorset.
Aye.
Katz.
Aye.
All ayes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item number 10, consideration to enter into a public transportation agreement between the McDonough County Public Transportation Program, also known as the City of Macomb, and Bridgeway. Ms. Lambert has a memorandum in your packets regarding this. Could you go over that for us, Miranda?
Yes, this is one of the local match agreements that we have in place. So again, we get the Downstate Operating Assistance Program grant from IDOT, which covers 65% of our operational expenses. This is one of the agreements that cover the other 35%. So Bridgeway, the only changes we've made to this is we've only been doing out-of-town transportation for them. So again, bringing in clients from areas such as Bushnell to their facilities in Macomb. So we updated the contract to say that, as well as the amount. We used to do a by ride fee, but IDOT wanted it to be a flat rate, again, a contract service. So again, based on our last 2 years, that's how we came with the $10,400 per year.
Thank you. Would entertain a motion to adopt that agreement.
So move.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. And thank you, Miranda. Excuse me. Item number 11, consideration to authorize making application for Strong Communities Program Grant, Round 2, for approximately $650,000. There is a memorandum in your packet from the Community Development Coordinator. Mr. Bannon is otherwise encumbered this evening. He's tending to a new baby at home with his wife and daughter. So the city administrator intends to brief us on that.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So as John's very brief memo mentions, we would like to apply for round 2 of the Strong Communities Program. If you recall, round 1, we demoed several houses that were past saving in the community. So basically provided all the funds for that. The difference with this one, and John and I talked about this quite a bit, there is some demos within this for 15 additional houses, but there's also, they've added a clause where we can do acquisitions and rehabilitations. So that would be great. So these would be getting houses before they're completely past saving and trying to rehabilitate them with grant funds. So I think that's a great add to this type of program. So we're asking for approval to apply for the grant is all.
Any questions for Scott? Alderman Vajezi.
Just a quick question. With the rehabilitation of the potential 5 acquisitions, would that be in turn to fix them up ourselves or to turn around and try to sell the properties and or fix them up and then sell the properties?
John did all the research, but from what I understand in this, we would be purchasing the house through the grant funds, and I think proposal would be working with the regional council to rehabilitate them, and then they would be sold back. And so that could be funds that could be rolled back into next projects.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Alderman Dorset.
I just want to say, I think this is a fine addition to the program that has been very helpful to us over the last few years. So looking forward to it.
Thank you.
That being said, I make a motion to authorize application of the Strong Communities Program Grant Round 2 for approximately $650,000.
Second.
It's moved and seconded to authorize the application. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Shu,
Aye.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item number 12, consideration to appoint the city attorney and the city clerk as Freedom of Information Act, that's FOIA, and Open Meetings Act, OMA, designated officers. Entertain a motion to approve those appointments.
Make a motion to appoint city attorney and the city clerk as Freedom of Information Act officers and also Open Meeting Act officers.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded, and any discussion? Alderman Moon, you had a question, sir.
Is this one, is one a chair and one's a member, or what?
We'll let the city attorney answer that.
Okay.
So for FOIA, the city can designate as many officers as it desires. The requirement is that any FOIA officer go through annual training. Renee and I both have already completed that training. There are others within the city that have as well. But this would have one point of entry for our FOIA requests, which we think would streamline the process for everybody involved, including members of the community that are making those requests. Under the Open Meetings Act, we are required to designate OMA officers, and those designees are required to take training annually. No one else is required to take it annually, just those designated people.
So it's plural.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? All right, hearing no further discussion, roll call, please.
Vajezi,
Aye.
Shabazz,
Aye.
Dorset,
Aye.
Katz,
Aye.
Wynn,
Aye.
Moon,
Aye.
Shu,
Aye.
all ayes.
Motion carried. Thank you. There is no other new business this evening. Aldermanic reports. Alderman Moon.
No report.
Thank you, sir. Alderman Nguyen.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Katz.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Dorsett.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Alderman Shabazz.
No report?
Thank you. Alderman Vajezi.
No report, Your Honor.
Thank you. Alderman Shu.
I just wanted to welcome some visitors that we have to town who are coming for some camps and conferences this summer, and hope that they enjoy spending some time in the city.
Very good. Thank you. We look forward to seeing them. Madam Clerk, anything from you?
No, sir.
Thank you. Ms. Scouth.
Nothing, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Coker.
Yes, actually, I have a couple things to mention tonight. So I want to thank Eric Lenart in the Community Development Office. So while he didn't do the work, he did find someone to do the work. So if you've noticed, our seam that was bad here in the ceiling, it's been fixed and painted. Several other spots around City Hall have been fixed. So we're going to continue to do maintenance in City Hall. It's very important. And then the second thing, the mayor alluded to it earlier, but John and Mari Bannon did welcome a baby daughter last Thursday. Kirstine Mary Bannon, 16 pounds, 15 ounces, 19 inches long. So,
Oh, my God.
I'm sorry, 6 pounds. So, I will say so I made the same mistake that John did because he posted on Facebook and he did say 16 pounds, 15 ounces.
That's probably what Mari.
Most of the comments were like, really, really? So, no, sorry, 6 pounds, 15 ounces.
Very, very good. Well, we all wish them congratulations. Almost a circle of life issue here this evening, Alderman. Traditionally, we would recognize and ask you for a moment of silence regarding certain community members who had paid a lot of attention and in fact, committed a lot of time and effort to making our community better. We'd like to take a moment now, at the end of the meeting, to recognize and honor the passing of Susie Melton, who, in her own right, but along with her husband, were decades-long members of our business community and served literally generations of Macombeites in providing fashion wear and jewelry and toys. So to Susie, as well as Bob Foote, again, a decades-long commitment to the community, along with his wife, Nancy, supporting the Miss Macomb and the Miss America pageants. They both have recently passed, and their celebrations of life have been within the last week or so. So a moment of silence in honor of them. Thank you. I don't believe we have any more business to transact this evening. We'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. This meeting is adjourned. Thank you.